Hey guys, we are back again with our partners over at Fanatics Sportsbook and talking fan cash. Most sportsbooks, well, their rewards are just fluff, but fan cash is the ultimate sports currency. When you bet with Fanatics Sportsbook, you get up to 10% fan cash back on your wagers, win or lose. Did we mention that they are giving away millions in fan cash this year and that you can use that fan cash on anything in the Fanatics universe? Go check it out yourself and download the app today. Fanatics Sportsbook. Winning hits different here. Must be 21 or over. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777. Massachusetts, call 800-327-5050. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY. Maryland, visit mdgamblinghelp.org. Not available in all states. Terms apply. See Fanatics Sportsbook app. Hey there, Knicks fans! How you doing? It's your boy Jonathan Macri with you for, is it the most special of all of the special? We've done a lot of special preseason shows, but come on. CP the Fanchise. Yes, I am with you for what has become another. We do have a few annual traditions here. Locked on Knicks crossover annual tradition, Alan Hahn annual tradition, Claudio Casino annual tradition. But when me and CP get together, tomfoolery usually ensues because, and I say to him every year, and I'll say it to him now before I introduce him, there's no one else in this business who knows what I go through on a daily, nightly, yearly basis, and there's no one else. And I guarantee you, he agrees with me that he's like, oh, no, Macri gets it. How you doing, Sippy?
Man, I'm good. And you know what? As you say that, I totally forgot to text you guys to say we should have poured up a drink, man.
Yeah. Well,
you have
so. You know what's really sad?
We're recording right now. We can pause if you have a drink. If you have a,
I have my KFS mug here, but as you'll see, It is a mug. It's not a glass, and that's because there's tea in it, and that's because, as it's another annual tradition, when the seasons change, I start coming down with something. So this is all I have for right now, which is really pathetic of me. There's nothing in here except water, sugar, and milk.
Yeah, there you go, man. No, but you hit the nail on the head, man. I wanted to have a toast for you to, number one, to tell you congratulations. Oh. But as you said perfectly, I know exactly what you're going through and how exhilarating this process is. And given the fact that we've collaborated, we've worked together, we've done so much content, watch parties, cities all around the world for years and years. Sometimes, man, when you step back and just take a look at the journey, you guys have been right there. Think about the watch party at Slattery's, the
oh my goodness,
the lottery watch party, right? Which was kind of like the turn of a lot for the team and for us as well.
Well, it got covered nationally, didn't it?
Nationally on ESPN. We were the go-to bar. Let's look at the crazy Knicks fans as they jump for joy to crack the top three and then, want to jump off a building when they found out they got number 3.
That was a fun night. It was a memorable night. And that was kind of the beginning of something. And now we're here. It's been an interesting, what was that? 2019, 6 years? 7, whatever 19, it is. Yeah. I can't believe we're here and we're sitting here. We're about to talk about a team and preview a team that is picked by a lot of people to go to the finals. Could certainly win the championship. Me and you spoke with Dexter Henry about it the other day at the Post. So I just want to start off asking you, as you prepare for a season that what the expectations are, what the fan expectations are going to be. Doesn't matter if it's going to be next week or a month from now or 3 months or, God bless, in June, God willing, in June. How are you preparing for the year that we are about to engage in?
Yeah. Well, I can tell you, amidst all of the hype and expectations, I hate it. That is not how we are
spit out my teeth.
Bred as New York sports fans. My fandom for all of my teams has typically come in amid seasons where you're not expecting them to do much of anything. That's where the excitement comes in. That's where those classic moments where like, oh my God, we're not even supposed to be here. Yeah. That's what built up my fandom, right? Like those wild card Giants teams, the 96 Yankees. Look, 94 Knicks, we should have gotten there. It was a heartbreaker, but 99, like, oh my God, where do we come from this? Even though we knew we weren't going to beat the Spurs. Like those times with no expectations is always when I enjoyed it the most. But now, even if you want to say the East is this, the East is that, and the third, it's hard to really wrap my head around. Like, yeah, this team can do it, but I hate putting them up there to expect it to happen.
It's a hard place to be because if they win, 50 some odd games this year, win a first round playoff series, win a second round playoff series, it's going to be like, okay, great. You've done what you're supposed to do. And like last year was like some of that. But last year was also, there was a lot going on last year. There was a lot going on with the coach. There was a lot going on with a lot of stuff, a lot of pent up stuff. And I think a lot of that came out over the course of the year. This year, I'm actually curious, like the Mike Brown part of it all. I'm actually kind of hoping that gives us, meaning like me and you, a little bit of almost a reprieve, because to me, at least, there should be at least some built-in expectation. Like, look, they did it one way for 5 years, and now they're trying to do it a different way. Let's all realize that will not happen overnight. That's what I'm hoping for. I don't know if am I being unrealistic though.
Yeah. I'm hoping for the same, but the reality is this is New York, and at the sign of a 3-game losing streak, the questions are going to come about. Are they ready? Can they do it? Is he the guy? We're going to come at that point at different periods of the season. It took us, me and you, about 2 years before we were both dubbed Tom Thibodeau shills. So we'll see, how many games does it take before they're coming at us with pitchforks. Right now, it's the honeymoon. They're like, oh, Macri, man, everything's great. We can't wait for the season. By game 20, they're going to be ready to throw you, me under the bus, everybody too.
Listen, man, you may have me in just about every conceivable metric. You do not have me in that one. That is, I own that one until the end of time, my friend.
Yeah.
Very proudly. No, but I'm excited for Brown. I got to tell you that. I look, we both, I think, stuck up for Tibbs at times, but and I think I know the answer to this question. Then after this, we'll move on to today's, what we're doing here today. But like, not only am I genuinely excited for Brown, I think the team, as I read it so far, and it's early, I haven't played a game yet, it feels like they maybe are benefiting from a different look, different feel, different voice in the room. What do you think?
It's from the time they sent Tibbs packing, for lack of a better word, everything that Brown has preached, everything that you're hearing about Brown, everything that the players are saying about Brown, it just seems to be, in some respects, and I don't want to say anti, because that might be a little bit harsh, but the contra to what Tom Thibodeau had given this team. And it's not to say that what Tibbs gave this team was bad. He built this thing. Everything, all the accolades for Tibbs, he's well-deserved in those 5 years. He brought us back from the grave, period. However, just like any other goal that you're trying to accomplish, maybe he had taken them as far as he could. And that was always my thought when they even first hired Tibbs here, when people were like, oh man, it's never going to work. It's never going to work. I said, maybe he's a ladder. He's a stepping stone coach that can set the table, set the foundation, and someone else may come in and take us further. So in Brown's case, we're going to be looking at, and this is where you say, how excited are you about this season? Well, for me, the excitement comes from looking at those little things in the margins. That is the difference in terms of this team accomplishing their goal. The offense, the coaches, empowering those coaches, the establishment of coordinators, the consultation of the entire staff, not just a heliocentric look from a coaching standpoint. The minutes, the rotations, how the players feel about the coach. Like all those things is what I'm going to be looking at all year to say, okay, was this truly, the one thing that kind of got us over the hump there?
That's a great way to kind of end the beginning of the pod here, because it's tempting, and I've touched on this, and I think both of us have touched on this over the last several weeks, to want to not skip past the first 82 games, but just to be like, the 82 games, the first 82, it doesn't matter. But we're going to learn so much about what this team is made of and how they are reacting, to the point where, yeah, what they do in April and May and hopefully June is what's going to ultimately define them. But I think we're going to not only learn a lot over the next, whatever it is, 5-6 months, but I think we'll have I'm trying to think of the right word. It's like there will be a satisfaction in seeing them get over the initial humps. It's not all going to be empty calories because it's regular season stuff. That's kind of where I'm at. But we'll see.
Well, yeah, 100%.
Quick break to tell you about our friends from Cornbread. Guys, I'm not as young as I once was, but I care a lot about maintaining my physical and mental wellness. Cornbread hemp CBD gummies are a huge part of my wellness plan, to the point that it has made every bit of difference in just me getting up and feeling like my best day in and day out. If you've tried everything under the sun for peace of mind, it sounds like it might be time for you to try Cornbread Hemp's CBD gummies as well. The best part is they are formulated to relieve discomfort, stress, and sleeplessness, and all products are third-party lab tested and USDA organic to ensure your safety and their purity. Right now, Knicks Film School listeners could save 30% on their first order. Just head to cornbreadhemp.com/KFS and use code KFS at checkout. That's cornbreadhemp.com/KFS and use code KFS. All right. Andrew Claudio, you want to emerge from the shadows?
Hi, John. Hi, CP. How are you?
Good, my guy. How you feeling there?
I would be remiss, CP, if I didn't say to you on air what we said to you off air. Congratulations to you and the Knicks chick. I got to meet her. They got engaged this summer. Apparently, it was like weeks after finishing second and third, I'll say, in Topgolf when we were at Vegas.
Yeah.
But congratulations to both of you. We hope that you're able to coronate your new marriage with an NBA championship as well at the end of the season. But congratulations, my friend, on behalf of all of us at Knicks Film School.
Appreciate you, man. As always, man. For sure.
Absolutely. So for those who have never tuned in for a Knicks Film School, Knicks Fan TV crossover, what happens is it's a mailbag episode, and somebody, I don't know who, went around and got some questions submitted. They went and just sent out the call to some important people, maybe some high notoriety people within the industry. I apologize, Mr. Macri, but Tom Thibodeau did decline to send in a message, a question to this episode.
What question? In the midst of the coaching tour, he
exactly. But this is the point. CP is he's available now to do one of these. So
I want to know. I want to know what question he asked. He would have asked.
Probably did they change the code on my apartment at Terry? Like,
what did Jesus say to Brutus when he saw him after the
et tu Brute? That's your.
I think that's what.
Hold on.
That's what it was.
There's something very funny that just happened. You went, what did Jesus say to Brutus? Which you're conflating two different references. Because it's what Caesar said to Brutus.
Not Brutus. Who was the apostle that did that sold him out?
Hold on. Judas.
Oh, Brutus, Judas. They rhyme. Jesus
John,
Christ.
But Brutus is the.
That's what I meant. Caesar what did Jesus say to Judas?
Go and do what I forget what the actual verse is. I gotta go look it up. But I'm so lost on the et tu Brute that has now.
No, not so. No, I meant Judas.
You meant Jesus and Judas. Okay.
Judas, yeah.
Well, the way that Judas sealed that Jesus was being betrayed was he kissed him on the cheek and then he was taken into custody. That's That's what I'm thrown right now, CP, that we ended up here. We have 8 questions.
Hope you're listening, Pastor Claudio.
Yes, we have 8 questions from different people within the Knicks fan community. It is so great to collaborate with Knicks Fan TV, and it's great to start here in the Knicks Film School, Knicks Fan TV crossover. Your first question, fellas.
Hey, what's up, guys? Longtime listener, first-time caller. My question is, what would you need to see from the Knicks defense in the regular season to consider them a viable threat to win the title going into the playoffs, whether that is something stylistically or a certain mark they would have to hit in terms of defensive rating, or even a specific player or two stepping up? Thanks so much. I'll hang up and listen.
Shout out to Gavin from Locked On Knicks for that question. CP, can I take this one first?
Yeah, good. Yeah.
My answer is 3 letters long. KAT. I will know if the Knicks are ready to play postseason defense that can take them all the way to a title if I see enough from Karl-Anthony Towns on the defensive end over the next 82 games. This is getting to what I was just referencing a minute ago as to what why are these 82 games important? Because at no point in time last season, in my opinion, did we see the caliber of defense from Karl-Anthony Towns that made me believe that the team was capable of winning 4 playoff rounds. And I want to see something from him. I think it's going to be at the 4 a lot. I kind of hope it's going to be at the 4 a lot. And is there something that they could go out and do consistently against good offenses where we're looking at it and be like, okay, Cat looks okay there. It looks like he could survive. It doesn't look like we need to, with the, when like a bad comedian's up on the stage and you get the big hook and they hook them off we don't need to get one of those for Cat. We could still compete and win defensively with him on the floor. That's my answer.
Yeah, I'm with you. That's certainly at the top of the charts. I mean, if you can solve the Cat and Brunson Riddle, you can give Mike Brown the Coach of the Year award. I'd love to see them. Can they be 10-ish or cover around that top 10? That would give me a little bit more confidence, but part of that would be them shoring up their 3-point defense, fixing Towns and Brunson, whether that means staggering those guys a lot more to allow for more defenders to be surrounding them so that you're limiting your weaknesses to just, one defender out there on the court versus 2. And then also, can they be a bit more opportunistic, man? I'm jealous watching the OKC Thunder and their pressure defense and turning you over in a way that, electrifies their offense. And I think for this Knicks team, that can help them go a long way. And so that's for Deuce, for OG, Mikal Bridges, but other guys on the bench are going to have to, scrap and get after. And Jordan Clarkson might need to surprise us a little bit, or Yabusele, Josh Hart, like those guys, that's your bench. And those guys are going to be needed to get after it. And I think helping the Knicks generate those turnovers would go a long way for them defensively as well.
I'm so happy you said that. This team has not, per Cleaning the Glass, this team has not been top 10 in turnover percentage on defense, not offense. Hasn't been top 10 since in over a decade. The 2013-14 season. They were close last year. I want to give them credit. They were close last year. They were 11th last year, which was better than they had been for a lot of the Thibodeau era. But I'm with you, man. Like to the ability to have a defense where you are bringing the fight to the other team as opposed to consistently being on your heels. And it's not like they don't have any personnel to do it. OG, Mikal, right, your guy, Mitchell Robinson, Deuce McBride. Like these guys are there. Now they just kind of put it into effect. Yeah, I mean, and if he's preaching, then what he said in the final preseason game was that he wants to hover around like 34 minutes for Brunson McCall. Well, that's more minutes for Deuce. So hey, yes, let me see Deuce picking up 94 feet. Throw Clarkson out there 94 feet. Like, let's try to change the tempo and, like you said, not play on our heels as much as they did last year. Yeah, it was an underrated part of the Pacers series. Yes, the Pacers offense got all the headlines. But what they were the pressure they put on the Knicks defensively, you felt that in a way that I don't know how I did not feel it, like on the other side. No. You know what I mean? No. Yeah. All right, Andrew, what's up next?
Matthew 26:48-54. Judas had planned to give them a signal saying, "The man I kiss is Jesus. Arrest him." At once, Judas went to Jesus and said, "Greetings, teacher," and kissed him. Jesus answered, "Friend, do what you came to do."
I don't think Tibbs would say that to me.
I don't think so either. Question number 2.
Hey fellas, it's Jeremy Cohen here. The Knicks have made an in-season trade every single year since Leon Rose arrived in New York. My question for you, who are the Knicks trading and who are they receiving?
Jeremy Cohen. Everybody knows that voice. CP, do you not like this question?
It's the who are they getting? I really have to think about. But could I envision them making a midseason trade of, maybe parting with the Dottier to try to shore up the backup point guard spot? I think that could be an option. But for who? We got to do some digging and take a look. I don't really have a name right now.
I don't think you don't have a name because there is no obvious.
Right.
And the thing. So here's the tricky part, and I wrote about this for the Knicks Film School newsletter at the end of last week. I made a prediction that I guess is a bold prediction, which is that I think they'll trade Deuce before the deadline. And I made the prediction not because I definitely don't want to trade Deuce. I wonder if they are backed into a corner and they feel like their best path involves getting a true, whatever the hell that means, backup point guard, which it felt like they thought they maybe had with Malcolm Brogdon, but just all the reporting, and I know you hear a bunch of stuff outside of what is even being reported, all this reporting about the value they placed on Brogdon, like the archetype of Brogdon, right? A traditional backup point guard, makes me think that they think they need that to go all the way. And if you're going to try to get that sort of player, one, you don't have room for him in the rotation right now because there's no minutes, which that is part of why I made the prediction. But also, are you going to send what little draft assets you have out the door to get that player, or do you trade something on the roster? And I think they want to save some of those draft assets for who knows what might be happening this summer. Yeah, that's again. I didn't like the prediction, but going through it in my head, I kind of felt I had to make it.
Biggest weakness on the team for me. That's the one I'm going to be watching night in, night out to see how they can get through that. I think Deuce and Clarkson will be the first two guards off the bench, along with Hart. We'll see some of those three guards, if you want to put Hart in that guard combo. The three of those guys out there, it's a matter of who are they playing alongside to help the half-court playmaking, because we know once they get out in transition, you can get Hart going, Clarkson can get you going, and even Deuce. But in the half-court, I'm thinking, do they put them with Towns in terms of how they stagger Towns and Brunson? Do you have the three of those guys with Mikal Bridges and Karl-Anthony Towns? That way you can be more balanced defensively. You get balance with your playmaking. You get some good three-point shooting out there. But I think it's a big hole. The Brogdon thing was it's not surprising that it came down to the last day to make the decision, because something told you that it was going to work itself out.
Yeah.
Either he was going to get
one way or the other. Yeah.
Or, it was going to work itself out one way or the other. But it puts a hole in there, man. They need a backup point guard. And I'm just not sure if they can get by without it.
Yeah, I completely agree. It feels like it would, just having that one more steady hand. Now, look, does Deuce maybe take a little bit step forward in that respect? That would certainly solve this problem. Does Clarkson maybe do a little bit? Yeah. One last thing before the next question. Yeah. Did you find it at all interesting that he started Clarkson in the Hornets game? Look, meaningless preseason game, the whole thing. But he did say, I want this to be a dress rehearsal. And then to start, I was like, does he want to see what Clarkson looks like next to Brunson in a game that matters? That was the only thing that clicked off in my head.
I certainly wanted to see it. And to me, watching Clarkson in that game, he was much more efficient with his offense. It almost seemed like he knew that, okay, Brogdon's not here. I've got to help move the ball a little bit more. And between him and Deuce, he's the guy. He can get you the paint touches.
Yes.
It's just a matter of, is he going to kick or is he going to throw up some slop that's going to have you pulling your hair out every other game? I'm here for the experience. I love it. Every couple of years we have a guy like that it strengthens my fandom. It puts the cardiac Knicks.
Listen, we've had J.R. Smith on this roster. We've had Jamal Crawford on this roster. It is only fitting that we have Jordan Clarkson on this roster.
Yeah.
All right, Andrew Claudio, next up.
Your next question comes from somebody that you both just saw.
All right, what's up, CP and GMAC? Got a question for you about Karl-Anthony Towns, especially with the season coming up. We've heard a lot of talk about how the offense around the Knicks should look different, the pace and the space, right? We've heard so much about that. And some players are going to be affected differently by Mike Brown's new offense. And with Karl-Anthony Towns, one of the things I'm really interested to see is, one, will the three-point attempts go up? He averaged just under 5 a game last season. And also, will his assists go up, being used more as a facilitator in Mike Brown's offense? So here's my question for you guys. Do you think it's more likely that if we see those numbers go up, that Cat averages about 6 3-point attempts per game, or averages 4 assists per game? What do you think is more likely, the 3-point attempts to get up to 6, or the assist number to get up to 4 per game? Let me know what you think, guys.
It's an easy one for me. CP, you want to take it first?
I think it's got to be the threes.
Really? Oh, this is great. I think it's just easy. Make your argument.
It's got to be the threes. They were 27th in the league last year. You got to utilize one of your best shooting big men in the league, as he dubs himself, and one of the best in the team. And to me, this is not coming from outside knowledge. I'm just kind of just reading the tea leaves in terms of who they went out there and looked for in this coaching search. You know, with the Noris, the Pablos, the Chris Finches, the Mike Browns, having just worked with Domantas Sabonis. I think this team, and Mac, me, you, and Dexter talked about it. And when you said that, hey, you don't make this Towns trade if you don't see this as the final piece to get you to the promised land. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. So in that vein, I felt like their coaching search had a lot to do with, how do we extract the most out of this player where Tibbs may not have been doing so? And that's part of it. I think part of it is the 3-point arsenal, man, is getting him a couple more attempts to help this team.
So I completely agree with you that Brown was hired in large part because to fully actualize and make something more of Karl-Anthony Towns and the offense as a whole, but like especially Karl-Anthony Towns than we saw last year. I am buying into the hype surrounding using Cat as more of a hub. He is not Domantas Sabonis. Domantas Sabonis is the third best passing center in the sport right now, probably. After Jokic, obviously, probably Sengun, but by give or take, second or third, whatever. Now, Cat might be in the top. He's certainly in the top 10. He might even be in the top 5. So I think he has the goods. We saw him on occasion last year. I feel like there were games he would go out there and have like 3-4 assists in the first quarter, and then maybe be quiet for the rest of the game. So if that is a pointed part of what they want to do to try to get Cat hitting cutters, to try to get Cat maybe hitting Mitch on a roll or two, or maybe throwing up a lob to Mitch like we saw him do with Rudy Gobert repeatedly in Minnesota. Cat has hit this number before. He had 4.8 assists a game just 2 years ago in Minnesota, 22-23 season, from the power forward position, predominantly notable. Here's my thing with the threes. I don't know how else to say it other than to say, if Cat really wanted to take more threes, he would have taken more threes already. He would have taken more threes last year. He'd have taken more threes throughout his career. I know he took almost 8 a game back in the 2019-20 season. I get he has blown past 6 before. I just don't think that's the player that Towns wants to be. I think he wants to be Kevin Durant. I think he wants to be a guy who puts the ball on the floor and gets into the teeth of the defense. And, because here's the thing. You could talk all we want about they're covering him with a wing as opposed to a center. He could still shoot over the top of any wing that's guarding him. So if he really wanted to get these shots up, he could have got these shots up last year. I think he'll have more opportunities. Until I see it, he needs to prove to me that he is willing to put up a true volume of threes, the likes of which his percentages say he should be putting up, because he hasn't yet. Andrew, what do you got for us next?
But how do you really feel about Karl-Anthony Towns?
I like Cat. I want Cat to be the best Cat he could be. That's all I want. It's not a lot to ask for.
Let's move on to a player that allegedly you do like, even though you ranked him behind Karl-Anthony Towns on your top 25 Knicks of the past 25 season. Your next question comes from a national NBA writer.
Hey guys, it's Fred Katz from The Athletic, and I had a question I wanted to ask you about OG Anunoby. So last year we saw Mikal Bridges really take the point of attack way more than Anunoby during the regular season. We saw Bridges guard the front ends of more pick and rolls than any defender in the entire league during the regular season, with Anunoby more on an off-ball role, bigger forwards, that kind of stuff. During the postseason, they kind of adjusted those roles though, right? And Anunoby took on like Cade Cunningham, Bridges ends up switching on to Cunningham some, and they kind of switched it up with those roles more. Bridges a little bit more off the ball, though not totally, and Anunoby a little more on the ball, though not totally, and their defense was better than ever. The wings are the hinge point of this defense once again this year, right? So what do you guys think is the optimal way to make sure that the Knicks can reach their peak defensively with these two wings? How do you think they could use Anunoby? How do you think it means they use Bridges in turn? And what do you think it looks like from Anunoby's perspective?
Great question from Fred, who I just want to say before we answer this. For anybody out there who doesn't know, Fred is currently running a little promotion. He has a Patreon podcast twice a week. Fantastic insider stuff. He goes on with James Edwards III. He brings on other great guests. In any case, he's giving away 2 free tickets to Friday's Knicks Celtics game right now if you sign up for it's called Cats and Shoot. So everybody, if you're interested in a little bit more Knicks content out there and to support, a great writer and also maybe win some Knicks tickets, go check out Cats and Shoot. As for the answer to this question, I think it's a great question. The first thing that came to my mind is that I don't know that either Mikal Bridges or OG Anunoby is someone that should be always guarding the point of attack, and that the guy who I kind of want to see do that role, at least playing against like guard initiators, is Deuce McBride. Now,
it's Deuce.
I'm in favor of Mitch starting. I think you're in favor of Mitch starting.
Yeah.
So I almost think that like the biggest thing for me is, can you, whenever Deuce is in the game, can you get him on the point of attack so that both OG and Mikal don't have to have that much taxation on their bodies over the course of the game? That was the first thing that popped into my mind when I heard this question.
Yeah, it's a good observation there by Fred, aka Matthew. Shout out to Matthew. We did see Mikal as that primary point of attack guy during the regular season, and then in the playoffs, at times we did see that switch. Like we got the matchups with OG and Cade that we wanted. To me, that really impacted Cade in the Pistons series. But again, it's hoping that when Brown says he wants to bring Brunson's minutes down, bring Bridges' minutes down, that's more of an opportunity to have Deuce out there and Mitch out there with your 2 wings to really solidify your defense. But, one of the things that makes OG is how he's playing off ball to kind of be that one wild card of the 5 players who can go out there and gamble. That's how you get some of your steals. That's how you get some of your weak side blocks, is by having OG out there kind of in that off ball situation. So you certainly don't want to go away from that. But as Mike Brown says, he wants to kind of diversify how he puts Mikal Bridges out there on the court. And so I think you can have a mix of both of those guys being on ball, off ball, sprinkle in a little bit of Deuce, and there you go.
It has to be a mix. I think, and this is, again, not the best compliment to my guy, Tom Thibodeau, but if it's one thing that we've learned last season, it's that of all of the options that could be the backbone of your defense, having Mikal Bridges at the point of attack in drop coverage where Karl-Anthony Towns is the drop defender, however many options there are, that's last on the menu. Yeah. That's the thing you don't want to order. Like literally anything else is a better option than that. And not to say that we're never going to see that this season. There will be times where like Cat's at the 5 and Mikal is going to be the best option at the point of attack. And like, you're not going to constantly have Cat hedging or switching or whatever. But the sample size from last year versus what I hope will be the sample size this year, it should not even be a comparison. And just again, like you said, variety is the spice of life. I think that's the best path here. Andrew, what do we got next?
Your next question, shout out to Matthew, by the way. We'll go to another reporter, one that you both know very well and may have featured on your channels over the last couple of weeks. Question number 5.
What's up, fellas? Mike Brown. Is he going to have more wins or fewer wins in the regular season than Tom Thibodeau last year, who had 51?
The great Ian Begley.
Great Ian Begley.
One and only. I've already made this prediction, so it's kind of a anticlimactic. I think he's going to have more, but I am taking the under. I got the Knicks at 53 wins this year. What say you?
Yeah, I said 53, 54. I think I said 54 on the Dexter show. So I'll go one over. But I'm going over, but just by a hair there. But also leaning on 2 years of chemistry, a better roster, the schedule, dealing with the East. I think he will have more wins than Tibbs, but overall just benefiting from a better roster.
Yeah, I think it's a better roster. Like you said, it's a deeper roster. I forget if we talked about this with Dexter. I talked about this on another show because it all runs together. But like the notion of, what's more likely, the Knicks being like something closer to a 60-win team or them being something in like the mid 40s.
Talk about that.
Yeah, and it's like begrudgingly, I would say closer to 60. But at the same time, like there is this nagging little part of me that wonders, okay, new system, introducing new guys. We've heard Mike Brown talk about how it's going to take the bigs a little while to get acclimated. Like, should it shock us if we're sitting here looking at a 49-win Knicks team heading into the playoffs? I don't know. That would not shock me. But even though I think it might shock some people.
It'll be interesting to see how they, if they go for it. Like, will they pace themselves the way Cleveland did? And Cleveland was able to do that and still get to that 60-win mark, having, a top 10 offense and defense. Do the Knicks have that with the depth as well to be able to do that? I'm just not sure. Now, if you tell me Tibbs is still here,
that's different. Well,
60.
Look, Alan Hahn was on here the other day, and he made it very clear he thinks home court is important. So,
yes, definitely, definitely.
How do they balance that down the stretch of the season? Well, we'll see. It'll be interesting to find out. All right, Andrew, what do we got next?
Hold on, CP. You didn't get to make your trip to Claudio Casino this year, so I'm just going to go over some over-unders real quick. So I just want to double check to see where you stand on a couple of things. So we got your over-under win total. Shout out to the fine folks over at Fanatics Sportsbook. You're technically taking the over at 53.5. Okay. How many teams will finish ahead of the Knicks in the East standings? The over-under line at Claudio Casino is 1.5.
Going under.
So less than 1.5 teams will finish.
Correct.
Okay. So it's either the 1 seed or the 2 seed. That's where you see it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, important question. They won 10 playoff games with Tibbs last year. How many playoff games will the Knicks win this season? Over under 10.5.
Over.
That's an easy one.
So do you have them winning over and losing in 7 in the conference finals or in the finals?
Finals.
See? No hesitation, no doubt in his team. No doubt.
Why would he doubt his team?
Why would he ever do such a thing?
I don't know. Why would anybody doubt their team?
I don't know. Man of the people, the Fanchise, as they say. Next person is also a man of the people that you could find often at Knicks Fan TV. Question number 6.
CP, Macri, what's going on, guys? Well, Claudio reached out, said he needed me to generate another top 5 questionnaire for you guys. So that's what I'm here to do. All right. So here's what it is. Who are your top 5 favorite Knicks City dancers? Nah, I'm just playing. The real question is this. All right. But let me give you a little preface because I've been watching you guys since you both started. All right. CP, when you started, you had a white wall behind you, maybe a poster here or there. And then Macri, you were doing lives from your couch. And now where you both have grown into your careers and in your journey and being content creators, right? You've accumulated quite an amount of good stuff behind you. So the question is, what is your top 5 favorite memorabilia that you've collected so far? And then the bonus question is, give me one item, Knicks related, that you guys would want.
Wow. I just went and looked up the Knicks City Dancers page.
Yeah.
Just
do they have names? Are they like
they have names?
Gladiators?
They have. I can confirm they have names.
Yeah.
Throw 5 darts. That's my answer to the first question. I'm sorry. The second question was my top 5 favorite pieces of Knick memorabilia that I have.
Yes.
All right, so I'll go through this as quick as possible. Number 1 is the signed Ewing picture that is over my left shoulder. His arms outstretched after the win that got them to the 94 finals. And that's because I think that was the first gift I ever got from my wife after we got together. So that's an easy one. Number 2 is it's hidden. It's tucked away. Is a ticket stub. It's next to the Allen Houston bobblehead that is signed by Allen Houston because it was the first in-person signature I ever got from a Knicks player. So that's another one. Number 3, I'm going to go with the Sprewell poster that's right here because it was given to me by my dear friend Andrew Claudio.
There you go.
Shout out to Andrew Claudio for that one. Number 4, I will go with I got to give my mom some love. She got me the framed picture of the dunk, which you can see the bottom of over here. That's the Starks one. And then I will this is really, really tough. Shout out to my guy, Alan Sepinwall. America's TV critic. Mm-hmm. He sent me, as he was like cleaning out some stuff, this old poster of the Knicks starting 5. It's the starting 5 of the 73 team. It's Earl's there. And it's like vintage. It's a really cool poster, but like it's really tough. It's tough because I have special relationships with a lot of this stuff.
Sure. I'll go number 1, definitely the dunk poster behind me. This is the original poster. Like remember when you used to go to Modell's or like Herman Sports Goods and you used to have the posters, you used to slide them by the page and then grab the tube on the bottom.
Yep.
So those are one of those. This is the original one from 93. So that one's definitely a cherished moment. Like that was like the beginning of my fanhood for sure. Out of the shot, but along the wall, I have 3 autograph photos, one from Clyde, one from Dr. Barnett, and one from Earl the Pearl Monroe.
Awesome.
These are definitely special pieces, and they came from the Barnett Foundation at the honor of working with them for a few years prior to the passing of Dr. Barnett. So that was really a rewarding experience, just working with them and just having the experience of interacting, just being in the same spaces with those guys.
Sure,
It was truly an honor and a humbling experience. So I would say those 3. I'm going to add that to the dunk poster, and then I would say I do have that autographed Clyde number 10 in that frame there. Clyde is he's just special to me, man. And just overall, it's so interesting because the Clyde is special to me, and I could say for all of us, especially of our generation. And what's so crazy is that we didn't even see him play.
Yeah.
And his contributions as a Knick legend and as a broadcaster is almost as legendary and Hall of Fame worthy as his playing days. And so for the older generation, they remember him from that. But for us, he was our broadcaster. He's been our guy. And then every time you see him in person, it's incredible to the point where now my son, the next generation, is a Clyde fan. You know, I don't know if there's someone in our history that has that type of impact. I think you go a step further. I mean, one thing I didn't mention, but it means a lot to me. Like I have my Clyde signed basketball over there, and right above it, my original copy that I found in a used bookstore in like Pennsylvania. I forget why. I don't ask me why, like where I was when I got this thing, but a copy of Rock and Steady, Clyde's book from the 70s. I got it. It's like things tattered up, but I have it. I would go a step further. Is there any individual that is more inextricably linked with one franchise in the NBA today, or in the NBA over the last 60, like in NBA history, than Clyde is with the Knicks? I would argue that there probably is not. If there is, if you want to say Magic with the Lakers, but but he's kind of in and out with them.
When you quit your job,
in and out with them. I'm not going to be here.
Yeah, you lose that title. No.
Clyde never said that to us, man.
Clyde never said I'm not going to be here. No, that's a good one though. Magic is a good one. I like that.
Yeah. And then I think Alex's question was, what would you want? What do you want to add?
Oh, what would I want to add to my collection? I think I'd love a Willis Reed signature.
Yeah. I like a championship team, like them in the locker room drinking beers, like signed by all of them. That would have been a good one.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, that'd be good.
That would have been a good one.
Good question, Alex.
Great one.
A photo with Tom Thibodeau. Signed Tom Thibodeau. Stop it. We know the answer, Macri.
That's not the answer.
That is absolutely the answer. The other answer would have been like a photo with Zach Lowe, signed by Zach Lowe.
Nah, man, I had Zach on the pod. That's enough. That's fine.
So that's the other answer. It's just you get Tibbs on the pod, we frame the thumbnail, and we have Tibbs sign the thumbnail.
God,
there you go.
You're incorrigible.
I am incorrigible. I think that's a word. We have two more questions, fellas. Great. This next one comes from easily the most famous person that has ever been part of one of these crossovers. And so welcome to the show. Someone who's been on the show, both of our shows before, both of our channels before. All right. Question number 7.
All right, boys. Very important question, and it's one that I actually ponder a lot. In your esteemed opinions, which jersey should the Knicks retire next? They're obviously a very picky bunch when it comes to the jersey numbers. You see some other teams, they're just retiring jerseys every week. Bit of a disclaimer, I did go to Syracuse. I graduated in 2004. I was there in 2003 when Melo won the national championship. However, if you say Karl-Anthony, you are a casual for life. It's got to be Oakley and or Starks. We obviously know Oakley not happening anytime soon. I don't understand why Starks' number hasn't been retired. And then it's probably Houston and then Sprewell and even LJ, I would say, before Melo. Love Melo, but just didn't have the playoff success that those guys did. And so if you say Melo before Oakley and or Starks, we have a problem. I will hang up and listen.
Our guy, Ariel Hawani. What a pleasure it was meeting him at Fanatics Fest several months ago. Very cool that he took the time to do that. My answer is gonna. I'm sorry, Ariel. My answer is Melo.
Yeah,
and that's coming from a place of not Melo stand-em. As longtime listeners of the show know, I don't know about the opposite of a Melo stand. I don't hate Melo or anything, but I try to objectively look at his tenure here. I think Melo is the right answer. If it's not going to be Melo, though, you didn't say the name of the guy I would go for, and that's Bernard King.
Bernard.
So, what say you, CP?
Melo staying here. I got his picture right behind me there. From the Syracuse days, as Ariel will know. I got to go with him. Of anybody, man. This is your NBA top 75 player. Yep. No, he did not have the amount of success with this team as you would have wanted him to. However, he came to play every night. He knew what his strengths were. He stuck to it. He stuck to his guns. We don't need a pass. We need buckets. All right. He knew what time it was. But look, one of the greatest scorers that ever played the game, according to your eyes, the stats, his peers, whatever you want to, consider. And he did it on the biggest stage. He did it here in New York. And again, the success wasn't there as much as you wished. Hey, I would love to see Tony Douglas make him a winner, Jared Jeffries for sure. But look, there was organizational difficulties, management difficulties that kind of got in the way. But if we're going to open up a pathway to retire numbers, it's got to be Melo. Would I slam the door on an Oakley one day? No, I don't even think I would slam the door on a Oakley Garden reunion. I think there is interest there if the two can mend their fences. But I got to start with Melo.
I would put up Melo certainly before Oakley and Starks. I would put up King before Oakley and Starks.
Yes.
And I think I would put up Allen Houston before Oakley and Starks, which I know might be sacrilegious to fans or other fans around my age who remember the 90s very well. But Allen Houston, the fact that he continues to be a part of the organization, I think matters here.
True.
And the guy was here for a very long time and went to a finals, and he was, more of a co-best player on that finals team than Starks or Oakley was on the team that, that the 94 team that went to the finals. So all worthy candidates, though. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Okay. Good question, Era. Good question.
Real quick. So we discovered this summer, at least it clicked with me this summer, John, when we were going through the 25 for 25, but the Knicks haven't retired a number since 2003 or 2004. Which year was it that Ewing?
I was a sophomore in college. So 01, 02. It was either 02 or 03.
Sounds like a 3.
I think it's 03. Yeah, because it's the year before they had that playoff run that never happened. The year that they had Steph, and I call it Fugazi too. I kept saying they hadn't made the playoffs in so many years, and he's like,
Fugazi run.
He's like, I'm gonna keep reminding you, they made the playoffs in 2004. It's like,
I don't even.
Yes, I don't acknowledge it, but yes, they did technically make it.
Try not to.
Has every other NBA team retired a number since 2003? I think so. And obviously this is like a question that requires some research. Kevin Dadashevsky, go find out for us. But it's
probably.
Why I think so. The answer is probably. And I think it's not even they should retire Melo's number. And I'm also coming at this from a place of Melo Standum CP. I think they have to retire a number sometime soon if we're going to actually commemorate like an era of Knicks history and not like not have such an unattainable standard, but like forever it was that the Magic had never retired someone's number, that their only retired number was number 6 for the 6th man, and they've now retired Shaq and Dwight Howard in the last couple of years. So I'm at the point where it's time to celebrate someone's number.
I think it's time. I think a lot of teams are kind of deploying these, not to discredit any of the honorees, but I think it's more of a marketing thing and more of a put people in the seats, have a special night for somebody. Yankees are starting to do that now, not with retiring players, but just with plaques in Monument Park.
Yeah.
So I think the Knicks can lighten it up a little bit and make it fun. Look how much we celebrate the I call it the Legends Lounge in during the playoffs. And guys are coming back. It's Novak. It's all the way down the roster. The guys are coming back to standing ovations, man.
The alumni row that I know you call it the Legends Lounge, but that whole spot with you could be a Knicks legend like Melo who made the finals, or like you said, Tim Thomas, Steve Novak. For a cup of coffee, you wore the uniform. Malcolm Brogdon's going to be sitting there during the playoffs this year. Like,
I'm looking at some of these retired numbers. The freaking Heat retired Dan Marino's jersey. The Hawks retired Ted Turner's jersey, whatever the hell that means.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Well,
Minnesota Timberwolves retired Malik Sealy. Oh, because
he died. He died.
Yeah. Okay.
Shout out to Stacey Patton.
Yeah.
And the movie Eddie. I don't know. I'm at the point where, like, so you mentioned the Yankees and the plaques. I come from the Mets world where my whole life it was like just Tom Seaver. And then Mike Piazza made the Hall of Fame. It's like, oh my gosh, we have a second number from a player getting retired. Then Steve Cohen bought the team, and the man, just like you said, from a marketing standpoint, was like, we're retiring 3 numbers a year going forward. And those events are fun. They bring generations of fans together, especially during the good times, and even more needed during the bad times. Again, speaking of the New York Mets. Your last question, fellas. Normally, I would have saved Ariel for last, but man, I'm just going to go behind the scenes and say the audio was rough when I first got it, but I was not about to make this man re-record an iconic video that got.
I see who it is.
I got captions sent or made, I should say, for this. So we will read it afterwards. What you're about to hear. If you're listening on the podcast, please go to your YouTube channel and see what is on the screen. Your final question.
Hey guys, my question is, without Tom Thibodeau, what do you think the Knicks' chances are to get back to the Eastern Conference Finals their chances to win the Eastern Conference Championship, and their chances to break the curse and win the entire NBA enchilada.
So that's Mark Berman. Mark Berman, who covered this team for 20 years, and they did not do much winning while he was here. And he has since departed to sandier pastures, as you saw in the video, if you're watching on YouTube. And all of a sudden, the Knicks are one of the best teams in the NBA. Folks, that's not a coincidence. Throw that out there right now. They were great before he arrived, and they've been great since he left. Oh, Mark, I love you. Thank you for submitting that question. What are the chances of? I mean, he asked a few different questions. Yeah. So, what is it? Make it back to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yep.
Make the finals and then win the finals. I will say
real quick, because again, I want to try and help our audio listeners as best as I possibly can. So the question, if I can get it on the screen. So the thing reads, my question is, without Tom Thibodeau, what do you think the Knicks' chances are to get back to the Eastern Conference Finals? Hold on. He's still reading the question. Then their chances to win the Eastern Conference Championship.
And then win the finals.
And then their chances to break the curse and win the entire NBA enchilada. No, you didn't say what Mark Berman said. You said...
I didn't say the word enchilada.
You didn't read what Mark Berman said during his question.
I'm just cracking up at the relax shirt, man. Shout out to Berman. He's truly a one of one, chilling on the South Florida beach, enjoying retirement. That's my guy, man. One of my favorite beat reporters for the Knicks all time. Easily. There's
not a better guy out there than Mark Berman. I'll just say that. Thank you, Mark. Okay. Chances they make it back to the Eastern Conference Finals. I will say 65%.
65%. I'll go 80, man. I don't see, unless they're not healthy. If you're telling me a healthy Knicks team is going into the playoffs, I think they're going to make it.
There were no asterisks in the transcription there.
There weren't. There were not any. There were not any.
Sticking with 80?
I hate this, man. Yeah. Go for it, man.
I got a little bit too much respect for, well, a couple of things. I got a little bit too much respect for a couple of the non-Cleveland East teams. I have still a tinge of skepticism about something. I want to see some things with this our team before we, go planning any parades. And then the off chance that the regular season, for whatever reason, takes time to adjust, injuries, whatever. And the Knicks are like the 4 seed, and it's Cavs 1. So like all those things, that's why I'm at 65 and not closer to you. Chances they make the finals. Oh, goodness. 39%.
I like that. I'd say 40. Depend. But honestly, I'm going to say 50. I'll say 50 because to me, if it's not the Cavs, I said this last year when they got with the Pacers too, but I just don't see it, man. I just don't see it if it's not the Cavs.
I could be convinced to go as high as like the low 40s.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever the number is, I think it's a higher number than I have for the Cavs. I think there's a better, in my opinion, better percentage chance the Knicks make the finals than the Cavs make the finals. Again,
me too.
There's going to be some East team that don't even think about in this context that pops up, plus the teams that we are kind of thinking about in this conversation. And then, chance the Knicks win the title. God. The chances they win the title.
I repeat, he asked if they win the whole NBA.
Enchilada.
That's it. Got to get the words right. My number is going to be above 10, but it's going to be below 20. And I'm trying to think if I want to go like 11% or I can't go 18 or 19. No, I'll go 14%.
I'll go 20.
20.
I'll go 20.
20 is good.
Matchup depending. I hate putting us up there, man. I want to be the underdog again.
You want to be lower than 20?
I want to be the underdog again.
Listen, 20 is 20 is big. Even 14 though, I think is big because I think to give the Thunder anything less than 40% would be disrespectful.
That's true.
I think it's an argument that they should be somewhere about 50-50.
Yeah.
No, that's not true. They should not be even money favorites to repeat. They should be around like 35-40%. The Nuggets should be around where the Knicks are. The Cavs should be around where the Knicks are.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's how many other teams that you would give a slice of the pie? 3 other teams, 4 other teams, 5 other teams, that's maybe not that many, but gets tricky.
Maybe 2. Put Minnesota up there.
I was going to say Minnesota, only because they have some stuff to trade and they could make one more trade is the Lakers. I'm not. Yeah. I don't believe in this version of the Lakers.
No, me neither.
But it's the Lakers, and they seem to step in shit year after year. It's always the Lakers. So that's the only reason. And they have Luka Doncic, and Luka Doncic is pretty good. Sure. But that's probably it. That's probably the.
I don't see much else.
Okay, Andrew Claudio,
CP, don't let his negativity bring you down.
God.
Don't let him actually wanting to say 5% in his mind.
I was not going to say 5%. I would never have said below 10%. I don't believe that.
Mm-hmm.
The Knicks are a really good team. They are not a perfect team, and they need to prove more to me.
They're going to win the title and the entire NBA enchilada, and we will come on here and tell you why you should have believed in them the entire time, is how that goes.
By the way, just to close the loop on this, there is a team that has not retired a number since the Knicks retired Patrick Ewing's number, and it is. Oh wait, no, never mind. I stand corrected. I thought it was. I was going to say the Wizards, but they retired Phil Chenier's number in 2018.
Wow, Phil Chenier night. We missed it.
We missed Phil Chenier night. So I think you're right. I don't think there's another team that has not retired a number since.
CP, that was very funny. Phil Chenier night. We missed
Phil Chenier night, man.
Damn it. Where was I?
3-time All-Star Phil Chenier team.
What was I doing? This is where you shine, Macri, where you pull up an NBA reference and you're just like 3-time All-Star, 4-time All-NBA. And it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, I never knew who this person was. Clearly good enough to get his number retired. That concludes our mailbag, our crossover for this year. Thank you to everybody that sent in questions. It's always great. Oh, crap. I did it again. Fellas, there's one more question that was submitted. I completely missed it. You know what? I don't have my fastball like I used to. There's one more question for you guys to answer. Your final question. Hi, Macri. Hi, CP. Long time no speak. It's so great to talk to you guys on one of these crossovers again. A statement that wasn't true either of the last times that we did this crossover was that the Knicks are the closest New York sports team to a championship. Like, go down the list. The Liberty won a championship, had a bad year this year, missed the playoffs, and then fired their head coach. The Yankees made the World Series, but then lost Juan Soto to little brother, who apparently has deeper pockets now, and then they pivoted, and everybody praised them for it, and their pivot was to lose in the ALCS to the Blue Jays and become a meme thanks to David Ortiz and Vlad Guerrero Jr. The Mets, they get Juan Soto. They spend the second most money in baseball, but missed the playoffs and are a laughing stock of their entire fan base, who is still trying to get over it. I don't have to tell you about the state of New York football. Nice story, Jackson Dart, but they're not close to a Super Bowl anytime soon. The New York Giants and the Jets haven't won yet this season. And I don't know if you guys know this, that New York has 2 hockey teams, 3 if you count the Devils. You don't have to. None of them are close to a championship. And as we all know, New York only has 1 NBA team. and it's the closest they've been to a championship maybe in 25 years. According to our friends at Fanatics Sportsbook, it's plus 900 for them to win it, the fourth best odds of any team in the NBA. So my question to both of you is about legacies. Which player benefits the most from a championship? Is it Jalen Brunson, who probably becomes the greatest Knick of all time? Is it Karl-Anthony Towns, who enters an interesting stratosphere of number 1 overall picks who've won a title? Is it Mike Brown, who might solidify the Hall of Fame? Is it, go down the list, Mikal Bridges, who never has to hear about those 5 picks again if they win a title? Is it OG Anunoby? Is it Leon Rose? Go down the line. Who benefits the most if the Knicks, as Mark Berman said, win the entire NBA enchilada this season?
Thank you, Andrew Claudio. Although that you should have turned on your mic for that question.
There wasn't a mic selected. It was
that's not my problem.
It was a camera and a phone. Yes, like the framing of it. By the way, you can see the entirety of me on it.
It's good framing. It's a great question. And it's tough because the obvious answer is Jalen Brunson. But there was another name that popped into my mind. It's not any of the guys that Andrew mentioned. It's Leon Rose. Because for when he took over the franchise, as me and you well know, they were not only the laughingstock of the professional basketball world, they were arguably the laughingstock of the professional sports world. And when Dolan decided to hire his buddy, from CAA, and that was the guy, and he went right there, and then it was like, oh, what are the Knicks going to do? Well, they're not going to tank like they should do. They're gonna try to win. They're gonna hire 60-whatever-year-old Tom Thibodeau. If he actually saw this freaking thing through and led them and was in charge. And it's like, and his fingerprints were as all over it as I say what you want about Leon, his fingerprints are all over this thing. The only one player that was here before Leon got here was Mitchell Robinson. And obviously Mitch is important, but this was all Leon. So I think the answer is Brunson, and then we could, conversation we had another day is does that make Brunson Namath? Does it make him Messier? Does it make him, Eli, whatever. It's some amalgamation of all those. But I think Leon Rose has a real argument for this answer.
Legacy changing. I'm with you in that. Brunson would seem like the most obvious. Is obviously, second round pick and the ties to the organization and connection to his dad. His dad was just on the front cover with Jalen on the cover of the Post and talking about, Jalen's evolution and how he got to this point. I'm going to go with another name that wasn't listed by Andrew.
Oh boy,
that's James Dolan.
Oh, did not Dolan. Have that on my bingo card.
The legacy of Dolan changes if the Knicks win the championship. The guy who he's meddling, he's ruining, he's bringing in all the wrong guys. It's the facial recognition and this, that, and the third. They win a championship in this town, of course. The legacy of Dolan changes immediately. The moment the confetti hits the ground, everything about the Carmelo days and the Carmelo trade and all the scandals and the dark ages of the 2000s, I think that all goes out the window. You don't even remember those times anymore if they win a championship.
It's the right answer, CP, and it's the right answer because we've seen it already with George Steinbrenner.
That's right.
George Steinbrenner was pilloried.
That's right.
Any number of things that took place under his watch over a long period of time. And that was, by the way, after he did some winning when he first got here.
Yeah.
But it was, and then the 80s and the early 90s, and it just, and then obviously what happened and now all everybody thinks about with George is is George Steinbrenner. He's a winner.
We need him back. If the boss was here, we wouldn't be in this position.
Exactly. Right.
That's all you hear.
It's crazy how quickly legacies could change. And that's the only thing with Brunson, why there was some hesitation, because it's not like his legacy is going to change. Yes, he'll elevate to a different stratosphere, but he's already
there. He's already,
a top 4 or 5 Knick in a lot of people's eyes. And, so listen,
I hope these are conversations that we get to have about 8 months from now or whatever it is, because that would be a lot of fun. Andrew Claudio, thank you for putting this together. I know it's a lot of legwork from you. I know you love it, but thank you very much for doing this. This is your best yet, if you could believe that.
Thank you. And you're welcome. And a sincere thank you to, I'll just go down the list. Gavin Shaw of Locked On.
Shout out to Gavin, man.
Jeremy Cohen, Dexter Henry, Fred Katz, also known as Matthew, Ian Bigley, Alex Rateris of Knicks Fan TV, Ariel Holwani, and of course, Berman of The Post, live from a beach somewhere on a coast in Florida. Once he sent the photos, he sent the video, I was like, I can't hear it, but I'm going to figure it out because this is the greatest image. That might just be the thumbnail tomorrow.
It has to
be. Relax.
Somewhere on the coast of Florida. And of course, to CP the Fanchise. Thank you as always for
appreciate it, man. Anytime.
And I will end by saying thank you to CP. There's not a person here alive that needs me to direct them to where they could find CP, but I will throw it to you before I get us out of here. Anything you want to let folks know before we finish up?
Yeah, you know where to find us, man. Knicks Fan TV. Once again, congratulations to Jonathan Macri. Congratulations to Andrew, the whole entire Knicks Film School team. You guys have, again, when I go back in that time, it was the original Knicks Fan TV with, Knicks Film School with Jeff Malone, Macri, Andrew. So again, as the years progressed, I've seen you building this, and I've seen all the people that you've tacked on and how this thing has evolved from just Jeff Malone's newsletter into the different avenues along media that you've evolved this into, and then even just go through on the crossover, the people that we've had asking the questions. This speaks to the relationships that you guys have tapped into, that you've cultivated. And this is why, when you guys call, it's like, it's a no-brainer. This is worth my time. This is what I want to do, because you know that there's quality, there's excellence behind it. And like I said, man, I know what it takes to be where you are right now. And that's why I'm very happy for you, because it's tough, man. It's tough. You're a husband, you're a father, you were formerly a professional. There's a lot of demands on us, man, on a daily basis, especially when you're doing this in the midst of all those competing demands on you. So when I see, when you made that move, I'm like, amazing. Because I remember where I was when I had to make those tough decisions to ultimately take that leap, man. So my hat goes out to you. Enjoy it. Enjoy the journey as we continue to do. And most importantly, this is just for me. I can't speak for you, but the overall freedom to me is priceless.
It is.
Priceless.
It's intimidating and it's exciting.
That's it.
But I will just say thank you for all those kind words, number one. And number two, seeing you do what you do and grow like you have and continue to, really push the boundaries of, what an independent content creation hub is capable of. It continues to push me in a lot of ways to try to be the best that I could be over here and try to push us to see how big that we could get. And the nice thing about Knicks Nation is there continues to be room for both of us. Which is fantastic. And I don't know that there is another fan base out there that could really say that. Not that there aren't some fan bases out there that don't have a lot of people that root for them. There's a lot of Laker fans around, there's a lot of Celtic fans around. But the veracity of Knicks fans to want to consume content about their team, not just from one creator, not just from two creators, from every source that they could possibly get their hands on, because of the love and connection that they have with this franchise, whether it is from the days of, Kristaps Porzingis, or whether it's from the days of, Dr. Barnett and Earl the Pearl and Walt and Willis and all of those guys. It's unlike anything. And I think I speak for you when I say we are thankful and indebted and grateful for everybody out there for giving us both the opportunity to do what it is that we do. CP, it's going to be a fun ride.
It's going to be a hell of a ride, man. Going to be a hell of a ride, man.
I'll see you in June, as they say.
Yes. Yes. Well, certainly sooner on the.
Oh yes, I'll be on with you before that. But yes. But at the finish line, how about that? We'll cross it together. All right, CP, you're the man. Thank you. Everybody, go check out everything Knicks Fan TV does. They are the absolute best, and as are you out there listening and watching. Thanks for your support. If you want to support us in other ways, please follow us on social media at Nick Film School. That is SKOOL. You can, of course, subscribe on YouTube, turn on those alerts so you know every time we're going live. You can subscribe to some bonus content over at Patreon and Substack for my newsletter. And then last but not least, give us a nice 5-star rating or a review. I know I've been doing these asks for a couple months now, but it is because, again, we are trying to build this thing up to be as big and as good as it could be. So if you could help us get there, we appreciate you. Thanks for checking out another episode of the podcast. We'll be back with more fun and games before you know it. Peace out.